make sure that, you know, your TVs and your cell phones are turned off. You know, I understand, you know, if I had a TV, and I am getting a TV, you know, I would have it on sometimes, but just make sure when you're in class, you know, especially if you want to unmute yourself, make sure all of your TVs and cell phones are turned off.
Alex, I have a
Appreciate
question.
it.
Alex, last night I got a message on my iPad that said it was updating my iPad software. So does it update automatically if I have it turned to that in settings?
Yes.
Yes, it should, but sometimes you may have to just do it physically. So I'll go more into that during the lesson of okay?
So that was okay.
Yes, that's what's supposed to happen. So just make sure you follow the prompts on the screen, Yvonne, and then I'll show you how to check to make sure that it's updated, okay?
All right, thank you.
No problem. I'm going to go ahead and read our disclaimer, of course. So the Wilderness Technology Alliance, WildTech DCC iPad program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual health, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. We should not rely on the information in any applications or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile and device applications and any social media pages maintained by the WildTech DCC iPad program, its owners and presenters, as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thank you so much for letting me read the disclaimer. If you can't hear me, if you can't see me, if you can't hear the video, please unmute yourself and let me know. I really appreciate that. So today, again, we'll be covering iPadOS 16. OS stands for operating system. So this update gives you powerful new ways to do more than ever. You can share and communicate with the people who matter, level up your productivity, and apps across the system are more intuitive, more customizable, and more capable. So if you remember, we talked about iPadOS 17 a couple of weeks ago. So 16 came out last fall, and this new upgrade will come out this fall. So it's a yearly thing. So when this new upgrade comes out, there's going to be a lot of brand new features that you can take advantage of. So I'll speak shortly on that topic. But yeah, what is an operating system though? An operating system is the most important software that runs on a computer. So the most important organ in our body is the brain, right? Without the brain, we wouldn't be functioning. So that's why it's the most important. It manages the computer's memory, basically storage and processes, so like the running of applications and like background activities, for example. It again, it manages the software, like the apps on the computer and the different applications, and the hardware, so the actual physical components of the device. They have to work in tandem in order to function. It also allows you to communicate with the computer without knowing how to speak the computer's language. So computers at its most basic level, it's created in binary, so like a bunch of zeros and ones. So we don't have to know what each combination of zeros and ones means. The operating system allows us to, look at it through our language, like we can read it and understand it. So yeah, that's how an operating system works. Without an operating system, a computer is useless. Just like, again, our brains, if we didn't have brains, we wouldn't be living, we wouldn't be functioning, right? So that's why it's the most important. Again, the job of the operating system is to, again, manage all the software, again, all the applications on that device and hardware, the physical components of that device on the computer. Most of the time, there are several different programs running at the same time, and they all need to access your computer's central processing unit, or CPU, as you may have heard, memory and storage. So the operating system does everything. It has to manage all of that in order to function. And it coordinates all of this to make sure each program gets what it needs. So some programs and some applications may need more memory, more storage, and occupy more space, for example, but some applications are smaller. So that's, again, the operating system's job, and make sure that everything that you're doing on the computer is within its needs. So it's good. We don't have to worry about that. It's the device's job. It's really important to update your your system because there are a bunch of updates that need to be done. But just like in real life, we need every amount of time or so, like we need to update, right? But you also may have seen it on the computers and such. Everything needs a tune-up once in a while. And you may have seen those pesky reminders that pop up on your screen, and they're always reminding you that your apps or your system is out of date, and always seems like they happen right when you're in the middle of something. But even if it does, you should still follow them and keep your computer up to date. Again, it's always important to have the latest version of whatever system that you're using, so that way it is most optimal, right? These updates have security patches that can cover security holes and keep the hackers out of the network. And in addition to these security fixes, these updates can include new or improved features, as well as improved compatibility with other devices or applications. So security is very, very important. And what I can say is that is not one system is 100% foolproof, but we can do our best and the programs can do their best to make sure that there are as little security flaws as possible, which is why these updates come out. And yeah, new apps. So for iPadOS 16, for example, we got the Freeform app, we got the weather app on the iPad. So these updates are very integral and important to making, your life as easy and as simple as possible. Again, these updates are not designed to ruin our lives. In fact, they're designed to make our computers safer and keep hackers from exploiting vulnerable spots. So again, just like what we said, it's really important that you make sure you keep your devices up to date to make them as optimal as possible. These updates can fix the code that allow hackers to install damaging malware on our computers or delete important files. The thing you've been so busy working on that you think you don't need to have time to update your software, those are the folks that are at risk if you decide to ignore that reminder. So yeah, if you had your device for a while, you want to make sure that whatever you do on that device, you have it, because you may never know when you need a file or an image or something like that. So it's important to, to keep your stuff safe. So that's what it is at the end of the day. These updates, they usually, you just have to click a button, and if you set it up a certain way and some certain conditions are met, then you don't even have to do that. These will occur automatically. The average time for an update, usually it takes about 10 to 20 minutes, sometimes 5, again, just depending on the type of update that's happening. But for new upgrades, so when 16 came out last year, it may have taken some folks 20 to 45 minutes to install that upgrade. So if I go back to, again, this slide, so right now we are on 16.6, right? So 16, that number right there, right after OS, that's the upgrade. So again, this coming fall, iPadOS 17 will come out. The next year, 18 will come out, etc. So that's what it is when you see that number. The 0.6, so there was 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and the last time we did this session was 0.4, right? But now we're on 0.6. Those are called updates. So upgrade versus update. So these happen around on a once a month or once every 2 months or so. And again, they bring important things like security updates, features, sometimes the apps as well. But again, those are the ones that just take about maybe 5 to 10 minutes or so for that. So when you're looking at this line where it says what update it is, now you know how to read it. You also may see like 0.6, 0.1, or and additional numbers are like mini updates. And you may also see a letter right there. So I'll go into that for a second. But that's how you look at that term, the iPadOS, whatever point, whatever, and that's how you know what it actually is. But yeah, so when you so these things called rapid security responses, those are a new type of software release for Apple devices. They deliver important security improvements between software updates. So everything security, just they, especially with tech nowadays. I'm glad Apple does this, because yeah, we want to make sure that our systems are secure as possible. They may also be used to mitigate some security issues more quickly, such as issues that might have been exploited or reported to exist in the wild. So within all of the iPads or iPhones or whatever device, when people report it, there's the purpose of having these rapid security responses. So you may have seen 16.4.1a. So if you see a letter, that means there is a rapid security response was just installed and downloaded on your device. And so the operating system, of course, when it keeps adding on from beforehand, right? So it will take up more data. Of course, an update will take less data than an upgrade, but that's why the iPad provides you the initial, the storage. So they take into account that system will take up, it takes up about like 20%, a little bit less, like 15 to 20% of the storage that's available on your device. So it does, but it's important that it is done so that way your iPad will be functioning. Again, without the operating system, there wouldn't be anything else. So it's really important to keep that updated. So before we go into how to actually do an iPad update or check on that, we need to do an iCloud backup. So an iCloud backup is basically, you can store the majority, if not pretty much all of the information on your iPad to the cloud. So it's stored in iCloud. That's why it's called iCloud backup, because it's you're backing up your data to the cloud or to that server. So, and if you have this backup of your iPad, you'll have a copy of the information, mainly for two reasons. One is the reason you see on the screen. It says in case your device is ever replaced, lost, or damaged. So yeah, if you lose your iPad and you get a new one, you're able to get your data from logging in with your Apple ID. Again, I'll show that in a second, but it saves that data in the cloud. So in case you ever need to put it back on your device, then you'll have the opportunity to do so. Also, anytime an update happens, I have never had an issue with an update or an upgrade on the iPad. But again, just like in life, it's always good to have a plan B, right? So before you do an update, you just want to make sure that you back up your device. So if anything happens regarding that update, you can back up your device to before that. So that way Apple can fix whatever they need to do with that update, and then everything will be fine from there. So you want to make sure you do a backup at least once a month. So again, what does an iCloud backup include? iCloud backups include nearly all data and settings stored on your device. These backups include data that's, again, already stored in iCloud, like your contacts, calendars, notes, your photos or messages, voice memos, your texts, your health data. So those are pretty important, right? So I'm glad that they back that data up, again, in case you need to restore it for whatever reason. It's also stores data stored in other cloud services like Gmail and Exchange Mail, your mail data from the actual mail app itself, your Apple Pay information. If you use your iPad to purchase items, it'll save that information, and any biometrics. So the Face ID or the Touch ID settings that you may have on your device, it also saves that as well. So that's a pretty good chunk of what's on and what's available on our device. So again, it's really good that they back up this stuff. Again, with all the possibilities of what could go wrong, creating a backup should be the first thing on your to-do list when planning to upgrade your operating system. And again, it's very, very simple to do. In order to back up your iPad through iCloud, you first go to settings on your device. And then if you see on the right-hand side, this is an example of Teresa's iPad. You see she tapped on her name. So whenever you're in settings, you should see your name on the top left-hand corner. And that's what you do in order to access your Apple ID in iCloud settings. So again, if I go to my iPad, hit my home button, I go to settings. Again, that gray icon right here. And then I'm going to tap on my name on the top left-hand corner. That's again how I'm going to access my Apple ID, and iCloud settings. So again, I tap on my name, and then on the right-hand side, you should see it says iCloud. So we want to make sure you tap on iCloud in order to go to the next step. So you should be at a screen that kind of looks like this. After you tap on iCloud, you tap on iCloud Backup. And so that way you can initiate the backup, especially if it's your first time doing this. And then once you hit iCloud Backup, you should get to a screen that kind of looks like this, where then you would tap Back Up Now in blue. So there's the button right there for it. It's pretty easy to access once you get there. So again, we tapped our name, we tapped on iCloud, and now we're tapping on iCloud Backup to start initiating that backup. So if you see on my screen, again, it says automatically back up your iPad, so you can restore your data if you lose your device or get a new one. And again, this should happen automatically if you're connected to Wi-Fi and your iPad is charging overnight. But again, depending on the connectivity, it may not happen on its own. So you may need to physically initiate the backup just like we went over today. So again, at this point, you see underneath backup now, it says last successful backup. So the last time I did it was about a week ago. So, I mean, that's fine. Again, make sure you do at least once a month. But for folks that use their iPad more, I would do it like maybe once every 2 weeks or something like that. So it just depends on how you use your iPad and like how much storage you have on it. Or if you really want to make sure you keep everything that you put on there, you can also do it again once every 2 weeks. But let's hit backup now. So it says backing up, and it tells you the estimating time remaining after a second or two. But it's a very quick process. It should take like 1 to 2, sometimes 3 minutes. Again, depending on how much storage you have on your device. I have quite a big backup, so even for myself, it does not take that long. So it just depends. Like right now we're on Zoom, so Zoom is taking some of the connection. But again, it's quite fast. Yvonne asked, what does in the wild mean? So when we said in the wild, just, there are many, millions of folks that take advantage of different products, right? Especially Apple products, right? So there's always a way, Apple provides a way for you to provide feedback or to tell them like about what a bug that may be going on. So that's what they mean in the wild. So when Apple receives a lot of those same requests, they can then check it out and see if that's actually something they need to address or if it's, just a one person thing, So that's what in the wild means. But for the backup, you'll see when it's done, again, the bar will go all the way. You'll see last successful backup right underneath where it says backup now. And then you would see the last date and or time that you completed a backup. Okay. So again, if we go back here, we hit backup now. Again, on Teresa's right here, when she did this a couple of months ago, it said yesterday at 7:04. So yeah, tomorrow, if you do a backup today, it will say yesterday. After that, it will say the date and time that you completed that backup. Again, the backup, it shows a bar to indicate the time remaining once the backup begins. And you will, again, you can look at that bar, but you can also, just like the update, you don't have to stay on the page. It'll happen automatically. So even though I'm on the slides right now, it's still backing up in the background, which is, again, pretty convenient, right? So again, the steps in order to back up your iPad with iCloud, make sure you're connected to, if you have Wi-Fi, make sure you're connected to that. That also works on the data. You go to settings, you tap on your name, and then you tap iCloud. Once you tap iCloud, you find iCloud Backup, and then you hit Backup Now. If you just completed one like 30 minutes ago or an hour ago, then you're good. And you don't need to do a second one, only if you like to. But make sure you stay connected to your network until the process is finished. And again, under Backup Now, you'll see the dates and the time of your last backup. So again, settings, your name, iCloud, iCloud Backup, and then Backup Now. Okay, so after we do the backup, well, before we get to that, again, a backup allows you to copy and save information from your device. And again, if you replace your device, you can use a backup to transfer your information to a new device. So look, when you get your new device for the first time, you'll get to a screen that looks like this. And you see the first option says restore from iCloud backup. So again, you'll just log in with your ID. And again, you'll be able to get that internet from the data, from the server, from iCloud, and you're able to get it onto your new device. So that's pretty good. You don't have to start from scratch. You can start at least off with something, right? If not everything, if you just did a backup. So after you do the backup, again, now we're good to go to do the updates or the upgrade. So again, make sure your device is plugged in and connected to the internet, again, with your Wi-Fi or your data. Then you just follow these simple steps. When you're in settings, you find general on the left-hand side. If you open settings up, initially, it should always show the general section on the right-hand side as a shortcut, because there's quite a lot to do in this section. So it's good that they have that on default. You go to general, and then you tap on software updates. So if you, again, when you hit general on the right-hand side, the second option says software update. That's the button you're gonna see to check what operating system you're on, and to check to see if you need to download and install it. So if I go to my settings right here, yeah, I'm on Zoom. So sometimes it may not work. The backup may not work because of what you're doing. So as soon as I get off Zoom today, I'll make sure to complete a backup. So it just depends again on your connection, but you should be able to fix that. So again, on the left-hand side, you hit general, and then we're gonna hit software updates on the right-hand side. Okay, so when you hit software updates, thank you. When you hit software update, you will see if you need to download and install it. If it had said download and install right here, you will make sure you hit download and install, and make sure you hit use cellular data to make sure that your update or your upgrade goes through. So mine says iPadOS 16.6, it is up to date. So if it's up to date, you can check it right here and you know that it's up to date. At the top, you'll see where it says automatic updates. So make sure that all three of these sections are turned on. So you see it says download iPadOS updates. So automatically it will download, but for installing it, again, it says automatically install software updates overnight after they have been downloaded. You will receive a notification before updates are installed. Your iPad must be charged and connected to Wi-Fi to complete the update. So if you want it done automatically, make sure this is turned on. And again, you may see a prompt on the screen, but if you do see it, make sure you hit install now, because you want to make sure your stuff is updated at ASAP, right? Last but not least, security responses that we talked about earlier, you want to make sure that's always turned on too. You can automatically install rapid security responses for your iPad. Okay? So again, let's review. We go to general. Sorry. Yep, you go to general, and then you hit software update on the top right-hand side, and then you're gonna follow the prompt. So in like 2 months or so, when 17 comes out, you will see right here, this was last year, instead of saying upgrade to iPadOS 16, it will say 17. So make sure when that upgrade comes out that you tap on that button and make sure you update to 17, okay? So we're gonna watch, again, 3 videos, again, on how to back up your iPad, how to upgrade or update the software on your device. And this come up a couple of times. We can see how to upgrade your iCloud storage. If the 5 gigabytes that are provided to you free, if you need more, this shows you how to do it. So again, we're gonna watch these videos, and then I'll be answering the hands and any other questions that you may have, okay?
Backing up your iPhone to iCloud is a smart thing to do. And better yet, it's easy. First, open Settings and tap your name. Tap iCloud. Then tap iCloud Backup. Turn on Backup this iPhone if it isn't on already, and then just tap Backup Now. Backup the easy way.
Yeah, Really simple to do a backup. Next up, we're going to go over how to update or upgrade your iPad. And again, we're going to focus on through iCloud. There is a way to do it with a computer, but through iCloud is much easier as well. So we're going to go over that.
By keeping your iPad up to date, you can get the most out of your device with the latest features and security enhancements. We'll show you how to update your iPad wirelessly and how to update it using a computer. Before you start, you should back up your device. If you're updating wirelessly, you'll need to plug your iPad into power and connect to Wi-Fi. If you're using a Mac or a Windows computer to update, you'll need a compatible cable. Let's start by showing you how to update your iPad wirelessly. When there's an update available, you might get an alert, which you can tap to start the update process. Or a badge might appear on the Settings app icon on your home screen. To check for an update, open Settings, tap General, and then tap Software Update. You might have the option to choose between two available updates. If you'd like to continue using your current version of iPadOS, there might be important security updates you can install for a period of time. Or you can upgrade to the latest version. Now, tap Download and Install. This button might say Install or Install Now if your device has already downloaded the update. Then, enter your passcode. Follow any other prompts which might include reviewing and accepting terms and conditions to continue. Your iPad will begin the update process, and when it's finished, your iPad will restart.
Okay, so that's how you update or upgrade your iPad wirelessly with this method. Last but not least, we're going to go over how to upgrade and manage your iCloud storage if you see this prompt on your screen. So again, you may see a prompt saying you need more iCloud storage. This is how you would alleviate that.
If your iCloud storage is running low, there are a few things you can do to make room.
Oops, 1 second.
If your iCloud storage is running low, there are a few things you can do to make room. We'll show you how to upgrade to iCloud Plus and share some tips on how to manage your storage. Let's see how to get more storage with iCloud Plus. In Settings, tap your name, and then tap iCloud. Here, you can see how much space you're using. If you want to subscribe to iCloud Plus, tap Manage Storage. Then tap Upgrade or Change Storage Plan, depending on your current iCloud usage. You can select the plan that's right for you and follow the prompts to upgrade. If you're new to iCloud Plus, you'll get new features like Private Relay, Hide My Email, and expanded HomeKit secure video support. You can also manage your iCloud storage by deleting files and documents you no longer need. When you delete something in iCloud, it's deleted across all your synced devices. Before you start, be sure to make a copy, either on your computer or an external hard drive, of anything you plan on deleting in iCloud but want to save. In your iCloud storage settings, you'll see your apps using iCloud, listed by the amount of space they take up. You can use this as a reference to help you decide what to remove, like duplicate pictures and videos in the Photos app, iCloud Drive documents you no longer need in the Files app, and attachments from conversations if you've turned on Messages in iCloud. Try this. In a Messages conversation, tap the Contact at the top and scroll down. You'll see photos, videos, documents, and other things you've shared or that have been shared with you in this conversation. You can tap See All to view and delete anything you no longer want to store in iCloud or keep on your devices. And that's a look at some ways you can manage your iCloud storage. With more room, you can add more of the photos, videos, and documents you need. To learn more about how to use your iPhone or iPad, subscribe to the Apple Support YouTube channel, or click another video to keep watching. When using the beta of Private Relay,
Yeah, so that's if you ever get that message saying you need more iCloud storage, you can then see what options are available and pick the one that you like. I would suggest if you on that screen, and I can go more into it if you'd like. You start off with the 50 gigabyte plan. That's $1 a month, $1.29 with tax, and then because again I've had my phone and my device for quite a bit, so I need the 200 gigabytes of storage. So I pay about $3 a month for that. So that way I'm able to store everything on the cloud. So that way, again, it's all safe up there in case I need to ever replace my device or devices.